So important that Lisa Bluder was Caitlin Clark's coach, because if Caitlin Clark could have gone somewhere else, and we don't know about Caitlin Clark. So this is Lisa Bluder talking about Caitlin Clark.
She has, raised the excitement of our sport. There's no doubt. Just because she does things in a different way than anybody else can do. Plus, she has all the intangibles. She's a great student. She's a great role model. She does everything. She loves being that role.
Imagine this for a second. The most people to ever watch a basketball game, not a women's game, any game, 32.3 million viewers, a number that should signal a new, unshakable golden age for the sport. But what if I told you that this historic moment, this explosion of popularity, is on the verge of collapsing? And the reason behind it will completely change how you see the game. Because the future of women's basketball is being quietly sabotaged by a coaching catastrophe. While a superstar like Caitlin Clark dominates the spotlight, a generation of other breathtaking talents are being systematically overlooked, their potential snuffed out before they ever truly shine. Think about that. Experts suggest a staggering 90% of innovative athletes never reach their full potential. Now, picture a player, your favorite rising star, benched after just 3 minutes on the court. That could be their reality. The entire basketball world is booming. But beneath the surface, a battle for its soul is being lost. And by the way, if you're passionate about the real stories shaping sports, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us dig deeper into the conversations that matter.
So, watching women's college basketball, it's very clear just how important Lisa Bluder has been to the sport of basketball, especially women's basketball and in basketball in general.
Now, let's be clear. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. Right now, she is a star of basketball, period. But her rise to global fame wasn't just inevitable. It was engineered. The key to her explosion wasn't just raw talent. It was Iowa. It was her coach, Lisa Bluder. When Bluder first saw Clark play, she didn't see a player who needed to be fixed. She saw a once-in-a-generation force capable of rewriting the rules of the game. And in a decision that most coaches would never dare to make, Bluder did the unthinkable. Instead of forcing Clark into a traditional, rigid system, she tore up the playbook. She built an entire offensive universe completely around Clark's unique, audacious gifts. This meant giving her the ultimate green light from distances other coaches would consider irresponsible. It meant designing plays that started well beyond the three-point line, leveraging her vision not as a bonus, but as a primary engine of the offense. This level of trust is astronomically rare.
Because Caitlin Clark right now, obviously, she is the star of basketball, men's or women's. If you are, debate a wall. She is the star of basketball. And the thing is, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, is that the reason why she blew up is because of Iowa.
Most programs operate on a philosophy of control, where the coach's system is the star. Bluder flipped that script entirely, understanding that a talent as rare as the system. Remember back in 2021? The college basketball world was buzzing with questions. Why was Caitlin Clark being ignored in favor of Paige Bueckers? Why wasn't she getting the National Player of the Year? But she deserved. There was an uproar because people could see the magic, even if the establishment was slow to recognize it. Bluder didn't just see it. She bet her entire program on it. She recognized that Clark's perceived flaws, the deep, early shot clock threes, the high-risk passes, were actually the very ingredients needed to create a product that couldn't be ignored. This wasn't just about winning games. It was about changing the very perception of what women's basketball could be, a gamble that would ultimately pay off on a historic scale. The result of that gamble transformed women's basketball forever. We are now living in the aftermath of that decision.
And if you guys look back, there are tweets from 2021 of college basketball being why is Caitlin Clark being ignored? Why is everyone just focused on Paige Bueckers? Caitlin Clark has been as good. Caitlin Clark should be better. And when Caitlin Clark didn't get nominated for Player of the Year, there was so much uproar they gave her co-freshman of the year, even though Paige won Player of the Year outright, but didn't win Freshman of the Year outright, which is mad.
Regular season games are pulling in millions of viewers, shattering records that stood for decades. Caitlin Clark's performances are drawing Super Bowl level attention. She isn't just playing, she's creating must-see television. This isn't an accident. It's direct evidence of what happens when you encourage creativity instead of stifling it. The economic impact alone is staggering. Universities hosting Iowa saw sold-out arenas, with ticket prices soaring to levels previously unseen for women's regular season contests. Television networks scrambled to adjust their schedules, realizing they had a ratings goldmine on their hands. This wasn't just about a player having a good season. It was about a player becoming a cultural event. When you let a player's confidence fuel your system, rather than forcing their confidence to conform to your system, you unlock a different level of potential. Clark arrived at Iowa and boldly declared she would take them to the Final Four. Most people laugh. A traditional coach might have told her to be quiet, to be humble, to earn her stripes. But Bluder understood that supreme confidence is not arrogance. It's a prerequisite for greatness. She channeled that ambition. She nurtured that swagger. And in doing so, she unlocked a revolution. This revolution proved that fans crave individuality and audacity. They connect with players who play with joy and fearlessness, who aren't afraid to fail spectacularly in pursuit of something amazing.
Look at this and it's like, you can't do this. Showing them big videos of Caitlin Clark back in 2021. The difference is that obviously the better they got, the more fans she got, and she became arguably one of the biggest stars in sports.
The data doesn't lie. Engagement, merchandise sales, and media coverage all skyrocketed, proving that the market for the style of basketball was always there. It was just waiting for a coach brave enough to unleash it. But this is where the story takes a dark and troubling turn. While Iowa celebrated its revolutionary star, a different scenario was playing out elsewhere, a scenario that threatens to undo all of this progress. Across the nation, coaches are taking players with the same kind of game-changing, electric talent and forcing them into a box. This isn't always done with malicious intent. In many cases, coaches believe that instilling discipline and a systematic approach is the best way to develop a player and build a winning team. However, this well-intentioned philosophy becomes a trap for unique talents. They are prioritizing system over individuality, control over creativity, and nowhere is this more evident than with Malaysia fully at South Carolina. The pressure to win now, especially at elite programs, can make coaches risk-averse. Why let a freshman make a flashy, turnover-prone play when a senior can execute a simple, safe one? This short-term thinking can have long-term consequences for the sport's appeal. Now, let's be clear. Dawn Staley is a legendary coach. Her record is impeccable, her success undeniable. But when it comes to handling a creative, unpredictable guard like Foley, there appears to be a fundamental disconnect. Staley's system is built on defensive dominance, rebounding, and efficient inside-out offense. It's a proven formula for championships. However, a player like Foley operates on instinct and flair, which can sometimes run counter to a tightly controlled game plan. The conflict isn't about talent. It's about philosophy. Foley is a human highlight reel. When she touches the ball, anything can happen. Behind-the-back passes, ankle-breaking crossovers, plays that leave the crowd in a state of pure shock and awe. She possesses that same X factor, that same ability to make the impossible seem routine. This creates a difficult choice for any coach. Do you sacrifice a degree of control for potential of game-breaking magic? Yet, in crucial moments, Foley finds herself glued to the bench. 3 minutes of playing time in a major game. Why? The reason given, often implicitly, is that she doesn't fit the system. She might make a mistake. She might take a risk that doesn't pay off. For a player whose game is built on rhythm and confidence, these brief, inconsistent minutes can be devastating. It's incredibly difficult to showcase your talent when you're looking over your shoulder, afraid that one errant pass will send you back to the bench. This coaching approach teaches players to second-guess their instincts, to play not to make a mistake, rather than to make a play. So, rather than celebrating that explosive talent, the instinct is to reel it in, to treat her natural, breathtaking instincts as a problem to be solved rather than a gift to be unleashed. The focus becomes on what she does wrong instead of what she could do right. This is the core of the coaching catastrophe. It's the exact opposite of the Lisa Bluder model. It's like having a Ferrari and deciding to only ever drive in the school zone because you're afraid of a speeding ticket. You're missing the entire point of what you have. The Ferrari's engine is designed for speed, just as Foley's talents are designed for creativity. Limiting them negates their very purpose. This philosophy creates a devastating ripple effect. It's not just about one player's minutes or one team strategy. It's about the very future of women's basketball. When a player as exciting as Foley is limited, the entire sport loses out on highlight reel moments that could go viral and attract new casual fans. The game becomes more predictable, more homogenized. We are at a tipping point. The sport can either embrace the unique, charismatic play that has finally brought it into the mainstream, or it can retreat into the safe, predictable patterns that kept it in the shadows for so long. The lessons learned by young athletes are profound. Think about the message it sends to every young girl watching. When they see Malaysia fully on the bench after spectacular play, they learn a dangerous lesson. They learn that being different is a liability. That creativity is a punishable offense. They see that the rewards go to those who color within the lines, not to those who draw new ones. That the safe path, the conformist path, is the only path to playing time. This is how you destroy a generation of potential Caitlin Clarks. You make them afraid to be great. The next revolutionary player might never pick up a basketball, or worse, she might learn to suppress her genius to fit in, and the world would never know what it missed. Let's pause for a second and consider a parallel universe. Imagine if a young Steph Curry had been coached by a traditionalist. Imagine if he'd been told those deep, quick-release threes were bad shots. Imagine if he was benched every time he took a risk from the logo. Before Curry, the basketball world had a very defined idea of a good shot. His style was considered unorthodox, even reckless. A coach focused solely on efficiency might have drilled into him the importance of taking higher percentage shots closer to the basket. The entire landscape of the NBA would be different today. Curry didn't just play the game, he reinvented it because he was allowed to. His coaches saw his unique talent not as a deviation from a norm, but as the new norm itself. This is the power of visionary coaching. It doesn't just develop players, it evolves the sport. Women's basketball is facing the exact same opportunity. A player like Caitlin Clark is its Steph Curry moment. She has already changed the way the game is played at the youth level, with kids now firing shots from a logo. But for every Curry, there are dozens of talented players who were never given the freedom to change the game. Think about all the players throughout history who had unique gifts that were coached out of them in the name of fundamental soundness. The fear of mistakes is causing coaches to sacrifice the potential for miracles. The next great innovation in basketball might be sitting on a bench right now, waiting for permission to shine. The irony is profound. These coaches, who likely believe they are protecting the game and teaching discipline, are actually holding it back. They are operating with a mindset from a bygone era when television exposure was limited and playing a safe, fundamental style was the only way to gain respect. But the modern sports landscape is different. It's driven by social media, highlights, and personalities. They are so focused on avoiding errors that they are blind to the bigger picture. A turnover might lose you a possession, but a breathtaking play can win you millions of fans and change the trajectory of your program. Yes, a player like Foley might turn the ball over trying an incredible pass. But Caitlin Clark has shown the world that the benefits of allowing creative genius to flourish far outweigh the risks. The proof is in the numbers. The sold-out arenas, the viral highlights, the new fans who can't look away. That's the payoff. This growth benefits everyone in the ecosystem. Players, coaches, universities, and the league. The sport is no longer just about wins and losses. It's about entertainment and inspiration. It's about creating moments that transcend the game itself. A perfectly executed, simple play might win a game, but a logo 3 or no-look pass can define an era and inspire a generation. Now, the spotlight turns to the WNBA. As Caitlin Clark prepares to enter the league, the question isn't just about which team will draft her. The critical, unanswered question is, will her new coaches allow her to be Caitlin Clark? Or will they try to fit her into their existing system, to tone down the logo 3s, to reduce the no-look passes? Will they see her as a masterpiece to be displayed or a puzzle piece to be trimmed? The world is watching. Young players everywhere are watching. They are seeing how Clark is treated, and they are seeing how Foley is treated, and they are making subconscious decisions about their own games. Do they play it safe and secure minutes, or do they unleash their creativity and risk the bench? The answer to that question would define the next 20 years of women's basketball. This is no longer just a sports story. It's a case study in leadership and innovation. What Lisa Bluder did with Caitlin Clark wasn't just good coaching. It was a revolutionary blueprint. It was a statement that sometimes the best way to build a team is to build it around a singular, extraordinary vision. The future of the sport is hanging in the balance. Will other coaches have the vision and the courage to follow that blueprint? Or will they continue to paint by numbers while potential masterpieces waste away on the bench? The record-breaking audiences have spoken. They want excitement. They want flair. They want creativity. The only question left is whether the coaching world is ready to listen. So what do you think? Should coaches prioritize system over star power? Or is nurturing individuality the key to the sport's future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of the biggest debates in sports, make sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.